Welcome to the Unravel View channel, exploring the wonders of our world and beyond. Everybody is looking for a way to save our planet, but what if the answer was simply to step aside for 1,000 years? What if humanity simply vanished for 1,000 years, not forever but long enough for the Earth to heal? Imagine one day our cities buzz with life, the next silence. Machines stop, cars halt, screens go dark. Humanity retreats underground, entering a deep collective sleep in vast chambers, giving the planet a chance to recover. This is the story of that radical choice, the millennial pause. By the mid-21st century, the signs were clear: climate chaos, rising seas, mass extinctions. We tried summits, technology, promises, nothing worked. Desperation led to the unthinkable: remove ourselves from the equation. The plan was simple: let nature reclaim the world while we slept in cryogenic suspension, watched over by AI. It was not an escape, but an act of responsibility, a penance for centuries of overconsumption and neglect. We would let forests overtake our cities, rivers cleanse themselves, and the air clear of our smog. The hope to awaken to a world renewed, where we might finally live in balance with our home. The decision was global, unprecedented. We would entrust our future to the resilience of nature. The Great Slumber was humanity's last collective act of stewardship. We stepped aside, letting the earth breathe and heal. As we entered our long sleep, we dreamed of a greener world, hoping that dream would become reality. The world above fell silent, the relentless noise of civilization replaced by the quiet promise of renewal. Our absence was not a defeat, but a chance for redemption. We had failed as stewards, but we could still offer the planet a gift: time. The millennial pause was our final hope, 1,000-year gamble for the future. Would the Earth forgive us? Would it recover? As the last human closed their eyes, the answer was left to time and nature. The world waited, holding its breath. The forests, rivers, and skies began their slow return. Our legacy would be measured not by what we built, but by what we allowed to heal. In our sleep, we dreamed of a second chance. The story of the Great Slumber begins with hope and a promise to do better. The world at last was free to heal. Preparing for the millennial pause was humanity's final united effort. Nations set aside rivalries, pooling knowledge to build the arks, vast, self-sustaining underground cities. These arks, buried deep in stable ground, were designed to endure earthquakes, floods, and the slow grind of centuries. Each could house millions in cryogenic sleep, watched over by advanced AI. Construction sites spanned deserts, plains, and ancient bedrock. Farewells were bittersweet. Families watched the last sunset, walked empty streets, and said goodbye to the world they knew. On the chosen day, people entered the arks, finding their pods for the long sleep. AI systems initiated the process, lowering body temperatures, slowing heartbeats. One by one, consciousness faded, and the great doors sealed. Above ground, the world fell silent. The hum of civilization vanished. The AI caretakers became humanity's silent guardians, tasked with keeping us safe and monitoring the world outside. The Earth at last was free from our touch. The healing could begin. Humanity's fate now rested in the hands of time and nature. The first change was silence. No traffic, no planes, just wind and birds. Power grids failed, cities went dark, and the night sky blazed with stars unseen for generations. Animals quickly sensed our absence. Dogs formed packs, cats hunted freely, and livestock that escaped began to roam wild. Urban wildlife, raccoons, foxes, coyotes, moved into city centers, foraging and nesting in abandoned buildings. Deer wandered highways, bears explored empty streets. The boundaries between wild and civilized dissolved. Birds nested in traffic lights, monkeys took over temples, kangaroos hopped through city streets. With no cars or hunters, animals expanded into new territories. The world became a chaotic, vibrant ecosystem, adapting rapidly to the absence of humans. Nature's resilience was on full display. The first days without us showed how quickly life reclaimed space. The Earth took its first deep, clean breath in centuries. The animal kingdom was reborn, thriving in newfound freedom. Our absence was their liberation. The planet began to heal. After a year, the world was transformed. Vegetation exploded, cracks in roads filled with weeds, ivy climbed unchecked, and trees sprouted from rooftops. Homes decayed, pipes burst, wood rotted, animals and insects moved in. Without constant care, our buildings quickly surrendered to nature. Infrastructure failed, dams overflowed, rivers reclaimed old paths, bridges rusted and collapsed. The power grid was gone, wind turbines stood silent, in the wild fish populations rebounded, whales returned to quiet seas, and herds of animals spread across abandoned farmlands. Predators flourished as prey multiplied. The balance of nature, long disrupted, began to restore itself. The world grew greener, wilder, and more vibrant. Our mark faded as nature advanced. The planet was reclaiming its own. A century into the great slumber, our civilization was vanishing beneath a sea of green. Wooden houses collapsed, cities became vertical forests, and rivers carved new paths through urban ruins. Icons like the Eiffel Tower rusted, the Statue of Liberty decayed, and bridges fell into the water. Our digital legacy, satellites, servers, the internet, disappeared, erased by time and the elements. Only stone and paper records lingered, slowly succumbing to decay. Nature ruled. Forests covered former farmlands, endangered species returned, and oceans teemed with life. The climate stabilized as forests absorbed carbon. The earth healed, but our memory faded. We became ghosts, our presence nearly erased. 5 centuries later, the world was almost unrecognizable. Cities became tree-covered hills, skyscrapers mere jagged ruins, and rivers flowed through former downtowns. Only the most massive stone structures, pyramids, ancient walls, Roman aqueducts, remained as echoes of the past. Our modern creations, steel, plastic, glass, survived only as scattered fragments. The ancient world outlasted our technology. The planet's chemistry bore traces of us, but the surface was cleaner than in millennia. New species evolved, ecosystems stabilized, and the Earth thrived. Our name was nearly forgotten, but the world was alive again. The signal is sent. Deep underground the arcs stir. After 1,000 years humanity awakens, disoriented, weak, and strangers in a new world. The arc doors open to a breathtaking alien landscape. Old-growth forests, clear rivers, and skies alive with birds. No roads, no cities, just wilderness. The air is pure, the world vibrant, but also intimidating. Animals are larger, bolder, and unafraid. Humans are no longer at the top of the food chain. Herds roam where cities once stood. Predators watch from the shadows. We are just one species among many, forced to find our place in a world that has moved on. All our old technology and infrastructure are gone. We must start anew, using only the knowledge preserved in the arcs. The challenge: rebuild without repeating past mistakes. The first generation must learn to live with nature, not against it. The 1,000-year dawn is a new beginning, uncertain, but full of possibility. The healed Earth offers a second chance. Will we seize it wisely? The future depends on what we choose next. The world is watching. Our story begins again. Awakening brings reflection. Why did we do this? The answer is in the clean air, the thriving wilderness, the proof of nature's resilience. The temptation to rebuild the old world is strong, but the cost is clear. The survivors debate, live simply, or use knowledge to build a sustainable society. The lesson is simple. We are part of nature, not its masters. The future depends on humility, stewardship, and balance. We don't need 1,000-year sleep to change. We can choose a better path now, consume less, protect wild places, value the planet's health. The great slumber is both a warning and a hope. The Earth can heal, if we choose to wake up today.